Hi guys, this is the Innovative Minds tutor. In this video, we are going to work with solving equations by substitution using K method. Right, we are going to look at 4 examples that will equip us to work with equations that requires substitution. Right, the first equation here we're given, open the bracket x squared minus 4x, close the bracket squared, plus 5, open the bracket x squared minus 4x, close the bracket, plus 6 equated to 0. When you try to attempt this by using FOIL method, you could get a 4th degree. We can see when we square this, we'll get a 4th degree equation. Well, it's hard to work with a 4th degree equation, but the easiest way is to use K method. We will first look at the repeated factors. Where there are repeated factors, or repeated, expression, where there are repeated expression, please kindly replace it by K, right? Meaning that let x squared minus 4x equated to K, right? So where there is x squared minus 4, we replace it by K. So when we square K, it will be K squared. When you replace by K, 5 multiplied by K, it's 5K plus 6 equated to 0. So from here, we can see this is a trinomial. We can factorize it. It's a quadratic equation. The factors of k squared, that's k and k. Factors of 6, that will satisfy the middle term. That is definitely going to be 3 and 2. Because 3 plus 2, that's 5. So when you equate everything to 0, we get k is negative 3, or k is minus 2. So we are not done. Where there is k, you replace it by negative 3. Let's start with the one that has negative 3. X squared minus 4x. Where there is k, replaced by negative 3. So let's go. X squared minus 4x. Let's take 3 to the other side. It becomes plus 3 equated to 0. Yes, we can factorize this because it's a quadratic equation. The factors of x squared is x, factors of 4, that will give us minus 3, that will give us minus 4, that will be 3 and 1. So they will take a sign of the middle term since the last term is positive, so it will be minus and minus. We therefore x is equals to 3, or x is equals to 1 when we equate them to 0. Then we're not done. Let's work out negative 2. To work out negative 2, we will have x squared minus 4x. Remember, where there is k, you replace by negative 2. So we are going to have x squared minus 4x. Take 2 to the other side, plus 2 equated to 0. The factors of 2 doesn't. Will they satisfy the middle term? No, they won't. We are going to have 2 and 1, no. So the best way will be completing the square, or we can use a quadratic formula. But I prefer to use a quadratic. So this is A, and this is B, and this is C. So let's apply a quadratic formula. X squared is equals to negative b plus or minus root b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Right. Where that is b, I advise that before you start watching the video, kindly pause it and do the question, and after that you check the solution. Right. So let's substitute. Where that is b, let's place negative 4 plus or minus, and let's be negative 4 squared. Where that is a, we replace by 1. Our c, it's 2 there. Okay. Divided by 2a. Let's punch this and see what are we getting. When you punch, let's punch this in the calculator. Put this in the calculator. But before that, negative and negative, that will be plus 4. Plus or minus, remember, root. Our a, it's 1. So let's work out that something that is inside the bracket. Let's work out what is inside the square root. Negative 4 squared multiplied by 4 times 1 times 2 there. That's 8. Then we get 8. Let's punch our calculator. Let me continue from here. X is equal to, when we punch our calculator, 4 plus root 8 divided by 2. what will be that? We get 2 plus root 2. So it will be 2 plus or minus root 2. So that's the solution. Notice that we have 4 solutions. So definitely this is a 4-degree equation. But the easiest way is to use a K method to solve such equation. Right. Let's go to the second question on our video. Right. We need to solve for x. What we can see from here, we can see there's a repeated factor, x squared minus 4x squared minus 4x squared. So let this repeated factor, x squared minus 4x, equated to k, right? Meaning that where there is x squared minus 4x, we can place k. So we have k, so also 17 minus 60 divided by k. So the LCD is k, so we can place k at the denominator. Then we know this is 17 divisible by 1 here, so since 1 times k it's k, 17 times k it's 17, 17k, 1 times 60, that's minus 60 there, it's okay. Then we can multiply by k, multiply by the denominator, both sides, this and this cancel. Then we are going to have k squared, so equals to 17k minus 16. Then we have k squared. Transpose 17k to the left hand side, that will be minus 17k. Okay, 17k plus 16 equated to 0. So this is a quadratic equation. We gotta find the factors. What are the factors of 60? Factors of 60, I think that is, 12 times 5, that is 12 and 5. Then, okay, yes, so it's 12 and 5. The last term has a positive sign, so they will take a sign of a negative term, so it will be minus 12 here and minus 5 equated to 0. So when you equate to 0, we got k is 12, so we got k is 5. Okay, we are not done. Our aim is to solve for x. Let's start with k. Let's replace 12 where there is k to add a repeated factor, x squared minus 4x equated to 12. All right, then let's say x squared minus 4x, take 12 to the other side, minus 12 equated to, right, then let's factorize. Right, equated to 0. The factors of 12, that will give us minus 4. Definitely that will be minus 6 plus 2, because 6 times 2, that's 12. Negative 6 plus negative 6 times 2, that's negative 6 plus 2, that's negative 4. Equate everything to 0, x becomes 6, or x becomes negative 2. So these are the solutions, guys. So this is how we can work the first two equations. Let's go to the third, then and the fourth. Right, our example number 3, it's 2x squared minus 4x equated to 36 minus 270 divided by 3x squared minus 6. Is there any repeated factor? No. So what do we do? If there is no repeated factor, this is what we are going to do. Let's factorize. First step will be factorize. Let's factor out. Let's look for the highest common factor here. The highest common factor, guys, we can see that it's 2. So we are left with x squared here. To get to 4x, we need 2x, right? So then we're done with the left hand side. Let's work out the right hand side. 36 minus 270 divided by 3, it's the highest common factor in this expression. So let's factor out x squared here. Then to get to 6, we need 2x, right? Get to 6x. So we can see there's a repeated factor, which is x squared minus 2x, right? Let k be equal to x squared, the repeated factor, the repeated expression, the repeated expression. So before you attempt it, try to pause the video and do it yourself, and then you check. That's how you learn, right? So x squared minus 2x. So we replace by k here. So we are going to have 2k equated to 36, I mean, yes, 36, right? 270, where there is x squared minus 2x to replace by k. So we're going to have 3k. LCD will be 3k. So let's place 3k, and we have, it's the same, we are having 36 all over 1 here. So what do we call 36 times 3, then what is that? I think that is 108. 36 times 36, that's 108. So we have 108k. 1 times negative 270, it's negative 270. And remember, we have 2k here. Then what we could do, this is the same as 2k all over 1. We could cross multiply. So 2k times 3k, that will be 6k squared. 1 times this expression, it's the same as this expression, which is 108k minus 217. Then we could rearrange it in a standard form. Take this expression to the left hand side, so it will be 108 k plus 270. Changes the sign, equate it to 0. Can we factorize this? It will be tedious, but the only way to make it easier is to, let's divide both sides by 6. 6 goes once at 6, so we'll be left with k squared. How many times does 6 goes into 108? 108 divided by 6, that will be 18. So we have 18k plus 270 divided by 6. I think that will be 45. So that will be 45 equated to 0. So let's factorize. Factors 45. Factors of 45, that's 15 and 3. Because 15 times 3, that will give us 45, right? So to get to 18, we need, everything must be in minus here, because the last side is positive. So let's equate to 0 there. Therefore, let's continue further. Therefore, k, when you equate everything to 0, therefore k will be equal to 15, or k will be equal to 3. We are not done. Remember, not solving for k. Go back to the original expression, which is x squared minus 2x equated to 15 now. Let's start with 15. All right, so we're going to have x squared minus 2x minus 15 equated to 0. Let's factorize. All right, the factors of 15, that will be 5 and 3. So to get to negative 2, this will be minus 5 and this will be plus 3. So negative 5 plus 3 is negative 2. Negative 5 times 3, it's negative 15. Equate everything to 0. X becomes 5, or x becomes negative 3. We are not done. Now let's look at the value of, let's substitute 3 now into the repeated expression, x squared minus 2x equated to 3. Then into standard form, that will be x squared minus 2x minus 3 equated to 0. Let's factorize further. Factors, it's 3 and 1. So which one will take a minus sign? It's a bigger sign, so that this will take a positive sign. Negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. So equated to 0. That makes x is equals to 3, or x is equals to negative 1. So that's how you can solve such equation using a substitution method. Right, then let's go to our last equation of the day. We are given a sad equation. How will you solve that? Let's make it easier using a substitution method, which is k method. There is a repeated factor here. We can see there's root 2x plus 1, root 2x plus 1. Let that be k. So let k be root 2x plus 1. So meaning that where there is root 2x plus 1, let's place k. So we're going to have k plus 1 equated to 20 all over k. LCD, it's k. In this k, in this manner, it's k. So to make life easier, we called cross multiply, because this is the same as k plus 1 all over 1, so we can just cross multiply. So we can have 1 times 20, that will be 20, and k times 1, that will be k squared, and k times 1, that will be k. Then we can rearrange this in the standard form. k squared plus k minus 20 equated to 0. So the factors are factors, guys, equated to 0. The factors of 20, that will give us a positive 1 here. At the second term, that will be 5 and 4. So this will take a positive sign and this will have a negative sign. When the last term it's negative, so the signs will be different. 5 minus 4, that's 1, and 5 times negative 4, that's 20. Equate everything to 0. K, it's minus 5. Okay, is equal to 4. We are not done. We're solving for x. Remember, we go back here. We replace by negative 5. Negative 5, 2 root x plus 1. This cannot work because we cannot have a negative. We cannot have a root that is negative. We cannot have a root that is negative. It becomes non-root. So in this case, it will be non-applicable. No solution. We could say no solution. But we can work out with 4 then. Let's go back and replace repeated factor, repeated expression, root 2x plus 1. Then we can square both sides to get rid of the root. So that will be 16. Then square 2, that will be 4. Then remember that the roots get the root and 2, they get rid, they will be out. Then we're left with x plus 1 here. Then we have multiply using a for method. 4 times x, or a distributive property. 4 times x is 4x. 4 times 1, it's 4. So we have 16 here. What we could do, let's take 4 to the other side. 16 minus 4, I think that is 12, right? So that is 12 equated to 4x. Then we can divide both sides by 4. We can divide both sides by 4. So x, how many times does 4 goes into 12? That's 3 times. So x is equals to 3. It's a solution in this case. Remember, when we're working with a third equation, we also have to check the validation. So this solution is correct whenever you go back there and check from the original equation. Right, hope you find this video useful, and don't forget to like the video, share the video, and don't forget to subscribe. Let's grow this community. We are around on 300 and something subscribers. Our goal is to reach 1K and more and more and more, and grow this community because knowledge is power. We love you.